Hey guys, Nina here, welcoming you to another reading from the Ladies of Horror Picture Prompt Monthly Challenge, hosted by Elaine Pascale on her channel, The Godmother of Horror. If you'd like to read along or read previously published pieces, please visit spreadingthewritersword.com or ladiesofhorror.com. In the meanwhile, enjoy the reading.
The Gourd Fall by Donna J.W. Munro. By rights, the queen of the fall should have been Sorcha's, eldest daughter of the McClaw clan. They'd won the spot with their industry, more children, more live goats, more strung fruits, and a field full of gourds as big as her head. The gourds were the thing that ought to have sealed the deal. She should be wearing the wreath of dried vines, evergreen and woven dry seed. She should be riding in the cart loaded with the fruits of their gourd field. But she wasn't. Lorlaw clan's daughter Moll paraded around in the fine-spun gown of Gourd Queen, farm to farm, collecting the gourd harvest and pissing in the furrows to bless the next year's toil. The Lorlaw fields hadn't produced near the number of sweet, colorful gourds, and it only had birthed one of the god fruits, unlike the hundreds of fine pumpkins their own god fruit field had birthed. All the McClaw pumpkins were bright with sky colors, blue and pink and white and black. They thumped under rapping knocks with music. They smelled of summer sun. They were perfect, every one of them. But none were the monster single fruit the Lorlaw had produced. That one fruit had wrested the honor of the fall in the Gourd Queen magic from the McClaw. Her piss didn't bless. Her kisses weren't gravid. And her tears didn't drive away the spirits like Moll's did. Sorcha didn't understand how a monstrous fruit, lumpy and misshapen, orange as any plain pumpkin, could outweigh the blessings of the McClaw's 5 new children and 20 new goats, let alone all the perfect pumpkins they'd added to the fall. It just wasn't fair. She pouted when the gourd wagon passed her, but she joined the procession as Father ordered, filling in the throng of children they'd gathered from each farm. The little ones giggled and danced to the slow parade of youth, some never having seen a fall, let alone been part of it before. The adults trained behind, quiet and red-eyed from crying as the gods intended. At the front of the wagon, Moll waved and sang the Gourd Queen song as they approached the center of town, her face beautiful and glowing like the sun on a late summer afternoon when the cold hadn't begun its stalking and demanding. The priest stepped in front of the wagon, waving the vines of green spring gourds to distract the cold as the procession neared the edge of town and the cliff that hung above Cold's kingdom, dark and deep. Sorcha's heart was cold, dark, and deep when she thought of Moll in the monster's arms, living as one of his chosen in ice, never hungry, never tired. It ought to be her. The procession ended and the fall began, first with each child that walks and talks picking a gourd that matched them to carry to the edge. They sang thanks for a good harvest and a happy life, then flung the gourd into Cold's kingdom. Silence. We listened, no thumps or crashes. Cold took the offering and everyone cheered, even Sorcha. A successful gourd fall meant a gentler winter. Next came the adults. Each family walked together holding a child that crawls and cries. A few families had no child like that and had to pluck a walking child of theirs from the crowd. Without song, they kissed and hugged their children until the priest raised and shook the vines, shouting the name of Sun. The adults dropped their children into the hole, then stumbled back, praying for their death to be quick. Sorcha didn't pray such foolish prayers. Her own baby brother M had gone to Cold last fall, and she'd been glad. He'd been so thin and wheezy that old Pa told her own Ma she might have let him starve if he did learn to walk. Instead, Ma broke M's toes so he'd be taken by Cold to the kingdom, where he'd never be hungry again. Once the adults cleared away from the edge, it was Ma's turn. Dumb Ma, who never understood how to tend winter's berries or cut the ice from the pond. She'd never danced with the snow or eaten frozen pumpkin seeds under a clear winter sky with Cold. Sorcha knew, because Cold told her. Cold wanted her, not Ma with her monster pumpkin. The priest turned to Ma, who was beautiful. She was full of color and curves for 12 summers. The Lorleau family had overfed her, and that monster pumpkin for their whole lives, just for this moment, and the pots full of Ma's fertile piss they must have hoarded away. "Come to me, little one," Cold said in only a whisper because its season was new. They all thought Cold called to Ma. Maybe it did, but Sorcha knew Cold wanted her as much. As Ma took floating, graceful steps down from the Gourd wagon, spending kisses on the children who ringed her with singing, Sorcha stepped away from them all. She'd been pissing in pots under for Ma to find. She'd been blessing the corners of the fields and barns. She'd been spitting chewed seeds into dried gourds for the new brides to eat on their wedding nights. The McClaw would prosper. The priest struck Ma with the ends of her vines, chanting songs that meant nothing to the Cold. Sorcha knew because their prayers didn't slow frost or stop blizzards. Cold wanted what it wanted. "Come to me, Sorcha." Cold did want her. She broke from the pack of them and ran for the edge. It all slowed. Ma's voice, old Pa's calling, the priest demanding, Ma weeping, all the children full of gasps. They wove into a wave that carried her as she leapt from the edge of the cliff into the bitter dark. Frost coated her cheeks and eyelashes, but she laughed as she fell, and her laugh sounded like an icy pumpkin seed grinding between teeth.